Om Sang Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. On page 204, verse 83, Rishi Ruvacha Evam Stavati Yutanam Devadam Tatra Parvati Snatu Mafya Yotoke Janabhya Vipandandana Sabrabhitan Surantrapur Bhaviviki Suyate Traka Surikosa Tasyasya Samubhuda Pravichipa Stotram Mayate Kriyate Shumbhadritya Nirakrite Devaki Samite Samere Nishumita Parachite Shririkosa Tasyasya Parvatya Nishitambika Koshikiti Samasteshu Tato Lokeshu Gigate Tashyam Nirjagayantu Krishna Bhutsapi Parvati Kali Keti Samangyata Himachala Pritasaya Tatonikam Prarubam Ibranam Sumanoharam Tadarsho Chandamundasya Prityo Shubhadi Shubhako Tabyam Shubhaya Chakapa Ativa Sumanohara Kadyaste Sri Maharaja Basiganti Himachalam Nevatadrit Vachirupam Krisham Kinati Dutamam Gaditam Kapsadevi Priyatam Chatureswaram Sri Ratnamati Charvangi Dyotayanti Dishastisha Satutishtapi Toitindra Tambalam Rastumarati Yani Ratnani Panayo Gajalvasti Nive Prabho Triloki Tu Samastani Sampatam Prati Tegrihe Airavata Samanito Gajaratnan Purandarat Parijata Bruchayam Tatreva Choisrabhaya Vimana Namsasayutam Etatistati Tengane Ratnabhuta Vihanitam Yadasi De Sadogupata Nitiresha Mahapadma Samanito Janeswara King Jalkini Dadav Jabdir Malam Malamka Pankajam Chatram Te Parinange He Kanchana Srava Tishtadi Tatayan Styatanaro Yapura Sit Prajapate Mrityu Kanti Danama Shakiri Shatakavita Pashathalindra Rajashya Paskirtabhakreke He Nishumasyati Chatascha Samata Razendra Jataka Panirapi Tadotumyam Abhisoche Chapasati Evam De Trindra Ratnani Samasta Kandri Tanite Sri Ratnamesha Kalyani Payakaspanya Krikate Rishi Ruvacha Nishumyeti Bhattahashumbaha Sattva Chanmundayo Preshak Masasubiram Dutam Devya Kasuram Iti Cheti Tabakya Sagatva Bhajanam Mama Yadha Cheti Samvidya Tatakakam Bhakavadu Satatra Gatva Gatvaste Shilo De Seti Shobane Sadevin Tam Tatabrahat Sachnamandura Yadira Dutuvacha Devi Toityasvara Hashumas Triloki Parameshwara Dudvam Preshitasena Vatsakasha Vihakata Avyakata Yasarvasu Yasaradeva Gyonishu Nijitaki Latoyari Sajada Hasyusvatat Mama Trilokyam Bhatilam Mama Deva Sanaya Yajabada Naham Saram Tupasnami Pitak Pitak Triloki Paratami Mama Vashyamyasti Sutta Tatriva Katratnancha Ritwadini Trapanam Shiro Dastabado Bhutam Ashwaratnam Amamri Uchike Sagara Sangapat Prani Partyam Samarpitam Yani Chanya Hitevishu Gandharveshu Rageshu Cham Radha Bhutani Bhutani Tani Maheva Shobhane Sri Radha Bhutan Tam Devi Loke Manyam Devakam Satamadam Nuhagachaha Yatho Radha Bhuchovakam Mamba Upanacham Papi Nishamamura Vikramam Bachatvam Chaklabami Ratnabhutasi Laikata Parameshwar Damatula Prapsathe Mapribrahat Itadudya Samarudya Maparidrakatamacha Rishi Ruvacha Hiyutasat Dadivi Gambira Tasmita Chigo Durga Bhagavati Bhadra Yagayam Dargate Jikat He Dubacha Satimutman Kanatra Mityakan Chindako Vitam Trilokyadipati Shumbo Nisumbaskapi Tadrisa Kinpapraja Pratikatam Mityakat Prigate Katam Suryotano Pabudi Twat Pratigaya Pritapura Yom Jayati Sangrame Yome Darpam Yapovati Yome Pratibaloke Same Bharta Visati Tadakachatu Shumotra Nishambhava Makasura Manditva Tinchrenatra Pani Brimatu Meladu Dudvacha Avaliptasi Mairantva Devi Bhuti Mamakrata Triloke Kakumamstas Tirthe Re Shumbhati Shumbhako Aneshamapi Dvajana Sarvete Bhadavaye Yudhi Tishtantin Samke Devi Kim Punastri Kamekika Indradya Sakala Divas Tadurge Shanta Sanyuge Shumbhavidam Tatatisham Sri Prakasya Sitamukam Satwam Gachahamayi Bhokva Ashwam Shubham Yeshubhayo Keshakar Shadi Dudota Gauravhamadmi Sufi Deduacha Eva Metagri Shumbo Nishumbastati Dirgaban Kim Karomi Pratyame Yadana Rochitapra Satvam Gachaham Aikotante Yadita Sarvamavrita Tada Chachva Surendaya Chachayutam Kurututa Om. And on page 204, verse number 83, remember we had just sung this beautiful hymn of praise to the gods. And we said, Mom, you did it for them. In days of old, the gods have sang these verses and you did it for them. You took away all the energy from their egos, from self-conceit and from self-deprecation. You gave it back to the gods, and the gods went back to heaven. Now we, too, we've been harassed by arrogant thoughts in the manner of humans, ad nauseum. And at this time, all of us gods, we know we're gods, but we're like humans because we're thinking about all these arrogant thoughts harassing us. And so, when all of us gods bow to the seer of all, that's you, who, when bowed to with devotion, and we are bowing with devotion, we're not just, it's not a salam, it's not a salute, we're really bowing down with all holy energy of conscious being, we bow to the divinity which you reflect to us from our hearts. We bowing down with devotion and remembering you in a physical image. We have a symbol of divinity before us, and that represents you, and we're remembering you in that image. You immediately terminate our every adversity. So let's get to work. Please. And that's the prayer with which we've come to you. I know you are not partial. You're not pakshpat. You're going to free us just like you freed them, because we're good kids, Mom. And the Rishi said, Your Highness, and remember, there's a Rishi is telling the story to the king and the businessman, and he says, Your Highness, just as the gods were singing that hymn of praise, the goddess of nature came there to bathe in the Ganges. Funny how those things work. And that supreme empress with beautiful eyebrows asked the gods, Hey gods, whose praise is being sung here? What's all this music about? Who are you bowing to anyway? And then from within herself, in an auspicious form manifested and said, self-conceit and self-deprecation, two terrible thoughts, have defeated the gods and insulted them, and so all the gods have collected here in the Devi Mandir and are singing my praise. Ain't it the truth? And as the mother of the universe emerged from within the goddess of nature, she is known in all the worlds as she who comes from within. Koshiki. She comes from within, the covering. She's inside us. Just like in the first chapter, she came out from us, and she came out from our eyes and ears and nose and mouth and arms and chest, and she just emanated, issued forth in the same way this goddess just came out of the goddess of nature. And she became known as she who comes from within. After the manifestation of she who comes from within, the body of nature became dark and consequently became a goddess who dwells in the Himalayas, distinguished as the remover of darkness. She's Kali. And she took away all the darkness, and that's how she became dark herself. And thereafter, two servants of self-conceit and self-deprecation named Passion and Anger came and saw the extremely beautiful form worn by the Mother of the Universe. Then self-conceit was told by them, O great king, there is an excessively beautiful woman whose heavenly beauty is illuminating the Himalayas. Such an excellent form no one has ever before beheld. O Lord of Thought, please find out who that goddess is and take her. Of all women, she is a jewel. Her every limb is very beautiful, and the radiant splendor of her body is illuminating all the directions. She is present there. You should see her. Sounds like a true servant of self-conceit. Lord of the three worlds, jewels, gems, elephants, horses, the best, all shine in your house. Of elephants you have the jewel, love for all, taken from the rule of the pure. That was Indra's elephant, Aravat. Of the trees you have the Kalpariksha, the tree of life. Of the horses, the horse of wisdom, the most wonderful carrier yoked to the swans of the Unyana through the control of breath, which before was with the Lord of creation, has now been brought here and shines in your courtyard, the jewel of its kind. You took Brahma's chariot. Of the 9 treasures of Lord of Wealth, you have taken the great lotus goddess of peace. And the ocean has given you a garland of fine lotuses that never lose their luster. The umbrella of the Lord of equilibrium, which causes gold to flow, stands in your house, and also the chosen chariot that belonged to the creator of beings. From death, you have taken the supreme energy known as moving beyond. And your brother's self-deprecation, he's no lightweight either. Your brother has taken possession of the shining net of the Lord of fluctuation. And of the beings born of the sea, self-deprecation has taken the most excellent jewels. The divine fire himself purified 2 garments and presented them to you. And so, O Lord of thought, of all jewels you have taken the best and most excellent. And of all women, the finest jewel is the goddess of welfare. Why don't you bring her to your home? And then the Rishi said, after hearing the words of passion and anger, Self-Conceit sent he who appears to be a friend, a great thought, as an ambassador to the goddess. Dokadegi. He commanded him, explain all this to her with sweet words, so that being pleased, she will quickly come. And then the ambassador went to that very beautiful area in the mountains where the goddess was seated and spoke in tender, honey-like words. He who appears to be a friend is a great negotiator. He'll just tell the sweetest things so that she'll be pleased, and she'll just leave her perch on the Himalayas and come down and become the servant of self-conceit. And the ambassador said, O goddess, the king of thought, self-conceit is the lord of the 3 worlds. I have been sent as his ambassador to come to you. All the gods have been defeated by him, and all obey his commands. No one can violate his order. Listen to the message he sends to you. The entire 3 worlds are under my authority, and all the gods obey my every command. There is no one who does anything without doing it for me. Self-conceit. I am the doer. I personally enjoy the share of every sacrifice. All the finest jewels in the 3 worlds are under my authority, and I have taken the jewel of elephants, the carrier of the god, the rule of the pure. The jewel of horses, the horse of wisdom, which was produced from the beginning of creation, the gods have surrendered at my feet. O beautiful one, beyond that, as many beautiful jewels that belong to the gods or to the heavenly beings or to the swiftly proceeding, they all shine with me. O goddess, we consider you to be the jewel of all women in the creation. Therefore, you come to us because we are the enjoyers of all jewels. You of inconstant gaze, come and serve me and my extremely valiant brother self-deprecation, because you are the very essence of jewels. Notice how he calls her you of inconstant gaze. It's actually my gaze that's inconstant. You're constantly looking at me, but I can't sit here that long. I have to avert my glance. So it's your fault. You of inconstant gaze. You're the one who moves your eyes. By fulfilling my wish, you will achieve great glory. Now, use your intelligence to decide if you want to be my wife. This is a proposal of marriage. Just think how conceited I will be when the goddess, the energy of the whole universe, is my servant. My self-conceit is energized by the energy of all in everything. And then the Rishi said, then the goddess, the excellent supreme empress, she who removes difficulties, thoughtfully, tranquilly, gently smiling, gave her reply. And the goddess said, all that you have said is true without a particle of falsehood. Self-conceit is the master of the three worlds, as is equally the valiant self-deprecation. Both of them say, me. Self-conceit is pumped up with pride and says, didn't I do a good job? I am the doer. I am the owner. I am the one who receives the benefits of all of my work. And self-deprecation is never get it right. I'm such a dummy. Oh, if only I hadn't. And they have become the masters. They are indeed masters of the three worlds. But in this matter, because of my small intelligence, I have already undertaken an oath to which I cannot be untrue. Please listen. I've already taken a vow. Listen to my vow. Whoever will defeat me in the battle and make me sit still, whoever will lose his self-conceit in me, whoever will see all the force of the universe in me, he will be my husband. So who can make me sit still, who can contain my energy, and then see all the energy as one within me. Whoever will see the force of the universe and surrender his or her egotism to me, he will become Shiva. That is my promise. My husband, Lord Shiva. That individual will become infinite consciousness if they can stop the dance of nature and see the force of the universe as one within me. Surrender all their self-conceit to me. That's the quality of pure consciousness. That is Mahasamadhi. So you return to self-conceit and self-deprecation, great thoughts. When they conquer me, I will marry. What is the necessity of delay? See, I'm just a foolish woman, a silly little girl. I made this vow to myself. It's very easy. You are the strongest guys in the creation. Why don't you just come and conquer me, and I'll certainly marry you. And the ambassador said, Goddess, your pride is very great to speak like that to me. In the three worlds, there is not a man who could stand against self-conceit and self-deprecation. Goddess, all of the gods cannot challenge the thoughts in battle. What merit have you, as you are alone and a woman? If the rule of the pure and all the other gods could not stand up to self-conceit in battle, how will you, a woman, go forth to battle? Therefore, you go to self-conceit and self-deprecation because of what I said. In this way, you will protect your dignity. Otherwise, when you are grabbed by the hair and dragged, you will lose your honor. Hey, lady, you come down here because I'm speaking sweetly to you. And if you don't come down here because of my sweet words and my logical explanation, then we're going to come in, we're going to grab you by the hair and drag you here. And then how will you feel? So come on down. The goddess said, what you say is correct. Self-conceit is very strong and self-deprecation too is a valiant warrior, but what can I do? Without thinking, I have made this promise. Now you go and just as I have told you, explain fully to the king of thought and then let him do what he thinks is proper. Oh. So, yes, I understand you're going to come in with your armies and attack me, and I understand that you are the most powerful warriors in the three worlds, but I did make this promise, so come quickly and get it over with. I'm sure you'll defeat me in just a moment. Go back to the king of thought and tell him what I said, and he'll think of what's the appropriate thing to do. But I'm not coming down at my own accord. I'm not going to surrender because you spoke sweetly to me. You tell the king of thought what I said, and he'll give orders of what we should do. Let's see if there are any questions.
Swamiji, it's a question from Kumari from Valleyville.
Yes, Mom.
The scriptures say that the highest spiritual realization is only possible for those who have taken a human birth. Is that why at the end of chapter 4, when the Devi is ready to grant them any boon, the gods don't ask for liberation, but are satisfied with the fact that their enemies have been destroyed and that she promises to remove any other distress they have in future?
Absolutely, Kumari, Mom. They are already liberated. Once their enemy, the great ego, has been destroyed, they have been liberated until the next time. And then she promised, hey, if you pay attention to me, if you sing to me with pure devotion, if you recite these verses, Sanskrita, Sanskritam Pando, if you remember me, then in there I'll give you intuitive vision and remove your every distress. Is there any greater liberation than that? That is the ticket to freedom. All you gotta do is remember. Instantly, the moment you remember her, she will remove your every distress. She'll remove all the enemies from you. All you gotta do is remember.
Swamiji, Nanda from San Jose.
Namaste, Nanda Mom.
Pranam Swamiji, it's interesting that self-conceit and self-deprecation are brothers. Does it mean that when we have one of these traits, the other is also automatically present?
Automatically. Automatically. And they keep dancing. And one is strong and the other is weak, and the other is strong and the other is weak, and they keep changing places. So we're constantly confounded by both of them. Both of them keep coming to us again and again.
Eric from Massachusetts.
Namaste, Eric.
He's asking for clarification on who sees Divine Mother in everything becomes Shiva, the loss of self in the Divine Mother.
Yes, absolutely, Eric. That's her promise. She made that promise. Whoever will see the force of the universe as one with her, and her within every object of creation, whoever will surrender all of his self-conceit to her, he will become Shiva. He will become her husband. He will become pure consciousness. That individual.
Swamiji, what does it mean when he says drag her by the hair?
Now I'm talking to your murti, to your manifested image. I'm saying, hey, lady, come down from that altar. You're not doing anyone any good sitting on that altar. You are the Shakti, the force of all in the universe. Come here and sit with me. I mean, how great will my conceit grow when the Shakti of the universe, God herself, comes down from the altar and comes here. And I'm saying, Mother, look, I'm such a busy man. I don't have time to go to the altar to see you. I can't go to you. I've got this whole kingdom to run. I've got a business. I've got children. I've got a family. I've got to earn. I've got to learn. I've got to do so many things. I'm a very busy man. I don't have time for you. So you come here and make time for me. You just come down from that altar, leave your temple, and come and be with me. And you know what, Mom? If I win the lottery, I'll give you 10%. Come on down. Where else can you get an offer like this? She's not coming. I guess I'm going to have to go to the altar to get her. But I can't get her by the hair. I'll try. Let me see what I can do to get her to come down and sit by me. If I pull her by the hair, I only get the murti. I've got to find another way to get her to come and be with me. Well, that's the rest of the chanting. Yes, Vish?
Yeah, on verses 94, 95, and 96, the great ego has these wonderful objects in his house. Now, I assume that means within him, not within his house. His house is his body. Is that the first question? Is that the case?
Both. On a cosmic level, he has stolen all the qualities and possessions, the wealth from the gods. He's stolen their wisdom. He's stolen their universal love. He's stolen their equilibrium. He's stolen their capacity of performing their divine functions. So, on the cosmic level. And on a personal level, too. Let's go to your house and see what you have there. Whose is it? Is it yours?
He's saying it's his because he's the great ego and he has total conceit.
And I think that every one of us would say, oh, look at my house. Every one of us who has a house would say, look at my house. And look at my things, the things that are in my house. Whose is it? It belongs to self-conceit. Even if you call it your own, it still belongs to self-conceit. Are there other questions?
Swamiji, a question from Srini. Maintaining an attitude of seeing God in everyone, is this an outcome of sadhana and samadhi, or is it something that we can pursue as a goal?
Well, it's an outcome of samadhi, and it is the goal. So, as we pursue the goal of universal love and ahimsa, and harming none, and thinking for the betterment of all, then we automatically come closer and closer to samadhi. And in that samadhi, we get to see what is it like when I am one with everything. And then the more we have that experience, the more when we come out of samadhi, we act from that experience, from that attitude, with the remembrance of that attitude, and try to create the greatest good wherever we go.
Swamiji, question from Nilima from New Delhi.
Namaste, Nilima.
Is there some significance to the order in which Mother slays the various demons within? Ego first and Shumb and Nishumb last? Thank you.
Not really, Nilima. Actually, all these battles are going on simultaneously. We are constantly perplexed by too much and too little. Not just in the first chapter, but even in the last chapter too. They come back again in different forms. We're constantly being subjugated by the ego, by the great ego, as in the middle of the episode. But self-conceit and self-deprecation are also the critics of all the movies that we see. When we close our minds or close our eyes and try to look within, and try to practice meditation, we start watching these movies, this drama of the life of me. And every event in my life I can look at, and self-conceit is going to be the critic and say, "Good job, Swami." And self-deprecation is going to say, "Oh no, why did you do that?" And so they are really very important characters in this drama. And so as we're watching the movies, all these characters, all these generals, all these asuras are coming at us simultaneously. They just take different forms, just like the great ego in chapter 3 was a buffalo, and then he was an elephant, then he was a man holding a sword, then he became a lion, then he became a buffalo again. So in the same way, these asuras are constantly changing their forms, and they are presented to us in 3 episodes, which is the balance of too much and too little, the destruction of the armies and the great ego, and then the destruction of self-conceit and self-deprecation, but it's all happening at once.
Swamiji, Sugriv here is called appears to be a friend, and there's a negative connotation while he is very respected in the Sundarkand.
It's true. And both, there are dictionary references to both meanings. So you can see the Sugriv, who is the ambassador of self-conceit, plays a different role than the Sugriv, who is the friend of Ram. And both are excellent and both have friendship. But one appears to be a friend and the other one is actually the friend.
Swamiji, question from Nanda.
Yes, Nandama?
It's a follow-up question to Vish's question. If I cannot claim anything as my own, since it's a quality of self-conceit, does this mean that everything that I think I own now, I should train my mind to look as it is yours and I'm temporarily owning it? Please help us to understand.
Not even temporarily owning it. You are a chokidar. You're the caretaker. You get to take care of it. I want to tell you a story because an experience that I had in my own sadhana. There's a tradition in the Kilakastha, the Dati Pratigrinati Nanati Shaprasidati Itahe Rupina Kilena Mahadevena Kilitam. As we give, so shall we receive. And this is the form of the pin by which all of this has been bound by Mahadev, by Lord Shiva. Now, there is a tradition in the oral tradition to give everything you own to the goddess. So there I was in Rishikesh in an ashram on the bank of the Ganga, and I gave everything. I took out every piece of paper. I gave my passport, my money, my traveler's checks, everything I owned. I put it on the altar. And I sat down, started doing the puja, and it didn't feel right. So I got up and I took off all my clothes and put them on the altar too. And I was sitting there stark naked and making the puja, and it still didn't feel right. And then I got up and I looked around the room, and my eye was attracted to one book on the bookshelf, and I opened the book and there was a 5-rupee note inside the book, and I took that and put it on the altar, and then I completed the puja. And it felt great. There was such a feeling that nothing of this is mine, it's all hers, and if she chooses to give me prasad, that's fine. And if she doesn't choose to give me prasad, well, that's fine too. It's all part of the puja. What a freedom. What an understanding of freedom, because there was nothing that had bound me to this world, and she could choose to give me whatever she wanted to, or she could choose not to give me anything at all. It was all in her hands. And nonetheless, it's quite an experience to actually feel that. I have no responsibility, and I'm really going to accept what she gives as prasad. And it seems that she's given me a lot because I'm well dressed and well fed. A lot of prasad. So that's the mindset with which we want to receive her prasad. Everything that is in this ashram is Ma's prasad. Everything that is in your ashram is also Ma's prasad. And then self-conceit no longer is the master of the three worlds.
Swamiji, question from Janitri.
Namaste, Janitri.
Namaste, Swamiji. What are we to do when we see self-conceit and self-depreciation in the world? Are we to realize that it's our own self-conceit and self-depreciation that we see? Do we pray for the other?
Oh, we pray for all of them. It's all one self-conceit, and it's all one self-deprecation. And any one of us at any time could become subservient to them, and all we can do is pray to Mother, hey Mom, take away the energy from self-conceit and give it to the gods, and let us relate on a divine level. Let's relate with divine Bhav. And when you're confronted by self-conceit, you don't have to become subservient to self-conceit. So, in the same way that someone comes to you with a great deal of self-conceit, there's no necessity for you to accept that conceit. You can just move into your center and keep your center and keep your poise and remind yourself that we're here for a divine reason, to negotiate a good outcome for everybody. Now, can we disable that self-conceit and disarm that self-deprecation, and let us relate to each other as divine beings with a divine purpose, pursuing our divine goal.
And Swamiji, how do we stay in the center?
We keep moving back into the center. Grab onto the center. You've got two hands. With one of them, grab onto God, and the other one, do your work in the world. So every time you feel yourself moving away from the center, just stop for a minute. There's no harm in taking a negotiation slowly. There's no difficulty. And if you need to, or if you have the opportunity, just go quietly, silently, repeat your mantra, and come back to the center. And let Saraswati bless your communication. And let Lakshmi clarify your goal. And let Kali take away all the darkness. Aim, Hrim, Klim, Chamundai, Viche. Now, let's talk.
Quick, question from Ambika from New Jersey.
Namaste, Ambika.
Namaste, Swamiji. In our life, we may come across people who appear to be a friend. What can we learn from these verses about how to handle the situation if we discover that someone has been less than trustworthy and honest? Thank you.
Oh, Ambika, the goddess was so polite and so clear and so poised and centered, and yet she was very firm. And she said, you know what? I understand what you're saying, and I accept your principles, but I already committed myself. So you go back to self-conceit and tell him, explain to him the nature of my commitment, and let him decide what is to be done. I'm not offensive. I'm not taking any offense from your being here. I'm not aggressive. I'm not challenging you to battle. The goddess here is the perfect example, the perfect guru of how we shall approach such situations. He who appears to be a friend has come to her and he's given her this ultimatum, and she says, I have nothing to do with your ultimatum. I have my own commitment. I have my own definition of perfection, and you could please go back to Self-Conceit and explain to him. I'm sure he'll understand. And when he understands, he'll decide what's appropriate action in these circumstances.
Question from Eric from Massachusetts.
Yes, Eric. Namaste.
If the qualities of self-conceit and self-deprecation are likewise qualities of ego, what is the identifiable quality of surrender to the Divine Mother? How does one know when one is truly surrendered as opposed to merely fooling oneself about being surrendered to her? That is, thinking that one has already surrendered and has nothing more to do.
Eric, in Sanskrit, the term surrender is samarpan. Sama means equilibrium, and arpan means offer. And samarpan means I offer myself in equilibrium. And that to me means perfect balance. There is no, all the threes are in perfect harmony and balance. There is no one gun, one quality which is predominant over the others. That's near vikalpa samadhi. So when we really surrender, we move into samadhi. And when we come out of samadhi, there are two choices. We can work for me, or we can work for thee. And if we are working for thee, and then this is thine house, and this is thy property, and this is thy work, and I am your servant, then we could say we are surrendered. And if we say this is mine, and that's yours, and I'm responsible, and I'm carrying the burden, and I'm picking up the responsibility and fulfilling my obligation, then it's for me, and I'm not surrendered at all. When I'm enjoying the privilege and appreciating the opportunity and performing the same functions for the benefit of her creation, Eric, this is the sign of surrender. And it'll never be a burden.
Swamiji, Nanda has a follow-up question.
Surely.
She's asking if you would advise us to perform the puja you described, give everything away, at least in the puja.
Yes, I will. I will advise you to perform that. All of you who know the cosmic puja, just offer everything you have in the Naivedya section, everything you possess, and more. And just give it all to her, and see what it feels like to have nothing with you. I would recommend that. It is one of the pujas that the sadhus will perform. It's a major milestone in our thinking. Just like when we take sannyas, we perform our own funeral. This is another major milestone, a change in our thinking. All of these rites of passage are designed to not only solemnify and acknowledge, but they carry with it a tremendous emotional reliance upon the divine. They expand that emotional reliance, that feeling of, I'm yours, not for me.
A question from Usha from Canada.
Namaste Usha, namaste Neil.
The idea of self-conceit and self-deprecation being the pin is helping me to understand why these two are the only ones that approach Mother and want to own her. Question is, when those two are slain, does attachment to everything go?
for the time that they are slain. But actually, we're going to find in the 11th chapter, after we've praised the goddess for bringing us to this state of enlightenment and freedom, she promises to come again and again and again, where various other forms of duality come and attack us. So in chapter 11, she comes in the form of let's see. She's going to slay the confusions of agitated awareness. She's going to become Raktadantika, and she's going to become Shakambori. She's going to become Being. She's going to become Durga. She's going to become, let's see, she's going to fight with perplexity, and she's going to become Brahmari. That was the other. And she promises she'll come in many forms to destroy many obstacles that come again and again to perplex us. Thank God she will. What a privilege to have her to come again and again whenever we forget. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.